I want to talk more about this black brown thing, man, because it seems like this is a conversation that we've been having in this city for over 20 years. I don't feel like we're any better off in 2023 going into 2024 with cohabitating, co-living, working together in this city, in this county, in Southern California, from these two different cultures. Actually, it's more than two, because we're not just dealing with Mexicans and blacks, but we got blacks that are immigrating from different countries. We got Latinos that are immigrating from different countries, and it just seems like it's getting worse.
Right. And let me tell you this. Okay, I'm Mexican, indigenous, Indian. There is no other race or any other person that's going to make me feel inferior because of the color of my skin. And nobody else, a black man, an Oriental, Asian, should be the same way. Okay? But I understand the politics. Things happen in prison, and they trickle down into the schools, into the high schools. I don't know if you remember, but back there was a lot of racial riots in the 90s that trickled all the way down to high schools, and they were having racial riots there. Okay? First of all, let's be honest. California is a gang-based vicinity. This whole area is gang-based. And it's not about color. It's about gang politics. This gang don't get along with that gang. And it's going to happen, okay? Because if you look at it, you got all these youngsters running around saying the N-word, dressing like they're black, talking like they're black. So obviously it isn't a color thing. It's just it's a gang politics thing. That's why there's never going to be any kind of correlation that all these people were talking about. It's non-existent. It's not going to happen because one man can't, not one man can change it. It has to be a group effort for everybody to change it. And that's never going to happen. There's too many people on the black side that talking negative about Mexicans, and a lot of it is not even having anything to do with the Mexicans. A lot of it is different nationalities. They just assume we're Mexican, and the Mexican ain't going to do it because the same reasons. They're just not going to get along. They're just not going to see eye to eye because we're always pointing fingers at each other, and that shouldn't be like that. We should be able to coexist with each other. Walk down the street, hey, what's up, man? Good morning. There was not too long ago, we went to Burger King, and it was raining. I see this black guy, youngster, sitting there all wet, trying to warm up. I was like, you all right? He goes, yeah, I'm just a little hungry. He didn't look like a bum or nothing. He just looked like, I go, what happened? He goes, oh, my car broke down. Nobody could keep me. I've been here for a while. I went and bought him some food. I didn't do that because of the color of his skin or anything. I did it because the man was hungry. So I'm not going to eat with them, but at the same time, hey, my hand's there for you. You know what I mean? I will help a black man just as quick as I will anybody else.
Now, you said that it's too difficult to happen because one person can't do it. It's going to take a collective. It's going to take a whole thing. But also, I think it has to come from the prisons on the brown side, because the politics on the brown side in prison is far more influential on the streets. And we saw a good example of how black and brown can get along when the East Coast Crips and the Florencia Treses got along in 2019 after a 20-year, and I will say a 20-year bloody war. That wasn't just like a casual conflict. That was a conflict that lots of people perished, and because one carnal inside prison decided this is not good. This is not good for me. This is not good for my barrio. This is not good for a whole bunch of reasons. He made it happen. So if that one carnal can make that happen on the streets of LA, imagine if all the carnals agreed with right. that.
But him, that person you're speaking of, that was his barrio.
Yes, it was.
And how big is Florence?
Very big.
Okay. That's a collective. That's a collective. That's somebody, he had the power to say, hey, do this. They're going to do it.
But there were some Florences that didn't want to do it. There were some youngsters that were trying to go against the grain, and they got handled. They got handled. And I can tell, I was privy to attend some of these meetings, and you can see the faces on a bunch of these guys from Florence. They were just mad and, unhappy. And then they called in. They had a phone with on FaceTime, and and I've said his name before, and he said it was okay. He's resting now. But Babo from F13, who just died in June after getting a compassionate release, he's on FaceTime, and he's really running the show. And I was thinking to myself, man, if there were more carnals from their sections, from their area, to say, hey, this black-brown thing got to cease. Like Long Beach right now is bad. The Longos and all the black gangs right down there, it's going bad. And I spoke to Bobo. I ended up getting his cell phone, talking to him to say, hey, can we do what we did in East Coast Crip, Florence area? Can we expand this to other sections? And he said it's possible, but we have to make sure that the guys from that section agree with it. And that's the hard part, to get everybody to agree with it. And I don't understand, why is it so difficult to agree? I don't know who runs Long Beach. I don't know who's in charge of Long Beach, but why is it so difficult for that guy now to say, hey, no more conflict?
I don't know. They all have different opinions about things, I guess. You know what I mean? Just like anybody else. But like I said, it's going to take a collective. That guy you speak of had that collective. He had the power to say, all of you do it. And if you don't, there's other guys that are going to make you do it.
I wish there was a guy that had the power that extended through the whole city. Yeah. But everyone only has the power in their section.
And look at, let's be honest. When there is, say if I'm at a baseball game or a football game or whatever, and I have a conflict and there's 3 or 4 brothers, they're gonna rush me, all of them. You know what I mean? And it goes both ways.
At a baseball game?
Yeah, or anywhere. I've seen it. I've seen guys get boo-bopped when there's 3. But see, like just recently, there was a lady, two Mexican ladies that got attacked by multiple black girls, and they load that truck. You know about that, right? The little Loto.
Yeah, this was what, in like 2020, 2021?
A couple of weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
And they're laughing about it and think it's funny. And, these poor old ladies are getting beat up. It's like, what are you doing? Like, you got to have compassion. People got to start learning. You treat people the way you want to be treated. You treat people's elders the way you would want them to treat your elders. And I think a lot of people forget that. But I can say for Raza, we're more based on treating our elders with respect.
Now, there was a black guy that attacked a lady at a vending of cart a couple years. This was like 2020, 2021. And he got DP'd by his brothers from his neighborhood because they said that wasn't cool what you did. That was completely out of line. And I thought that was a great effort for his homeboys to DP him, and then they made him get on camera and apologize for what he did to I think it was the Alota lady.
All respect for that.
I've
seen it. I know what you're talking about, and it was all respect for that. For those guys that do that, DP their people, that meant a lot, at least in my opinion. But then, who am I? I don't have that collective.
Yeah.